Hello, it is Helen from the Squiggly Careers podcast. I hope you're well. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about this week's podcast, which is on the topic of how to stand out with senior people. I thought what I would do is I'd summarize 3 of the ideas for action that we share on the podcast, so you get a bit of a teaser, taster, I don't know, whatever that is. And then you can hopefully decide that it'd be a useful listen to you and you can find the podcast and listen to the rest of the ideas. So let's just talk about why this is important. Senior people still have a really significant impact on your career development. They have often got access to opportunities that you might not be aware of, and they can support and sponsor you to get closer to them. So it's really important that we invest in these relationships, but it often doesn't feel easy to do. And finding time, like a way of getting in these people's diaries or just kind of getting on their agenda, can feel a little bit difficult. So 3 small things that you can do to get you started with standing out with senior people. The first one is to find their filter. So this is Sarah and me. We're not particularly senior, but let's imagine you work for us. We're a manager or a senior stakeholder in your business. Really important that you find their filter. If you can understand what matters most to that person, then you can think about how you can more directly influence them. So, for example, for me, I like to sort of get it done fast. So influencing me is all about pace, moving things on. It's all about progress. Even just using that language with me is likely to connect with me personally. Sarah, if you were working for Sarah, she likes to get it done differently and to get it done accurately. So getting it done right first time without errors, really important to Sarah. So, that level of accuracy will increase the amount of trust that she has in you, which will increase the credibility that she feels for you. So finding someone's filter helps you to align your actions to the way that they like to work, which is quite a useful way of building that connection. Number 2, ask yourself before you ask a senior person, what do I think? Okay, this is really important. So when you go to a senior person and you ask for their input or their opinion, it's really important that you've done some thinking for yourself first, which might sound like, my perspective on this problem is ... What would you add to this? But leading with your perspective, your opinion, it shows confidence, it shows credibility. Outsourcing to someone senior all the time for their ideas and their insights can look a bit lazy. We do not want to look lazy. We want to come across as confident and in control, and that we're building on our opinions rather than outsourcing the answers to somebody else. So ask yourself before you ask someone else. And then number 3, we want to influence the influencers. So sometimes, let's imagine this is your senior stakeholder in the business, whoever that person is, they're your senior stakeholder, and you want to influence that person. Sometimes getting to them directly might feel a bit difficult. Maybe they're busy, maybe they just seem a bit unavailable to you. That's okay. That's often been the case for me in some of the companies I've worked. But what can be really useful is to think about the people that they've got around them. So if you were going to identify 3 people who influence the person that you want to influence, so that could be, one of their colleagues, they might be in the business or outside of the business. And for each of those persons, think about who they are and what matters to them. And then the next thing you want to do is think about, well, how can I stand out with that person? If that's who they are and what matters to them, how could they be more aware of me? How could I transfer my talents to help them? Because if you can build influence with those people, it is more likely that they will advocate you to that senior person. So 3 small tips, tactics, approaches, lots more in the podcast and on the pod sheet. You can get the pod sheet from amazingif.com. There's a podcast page. You'll find them all there. And the podcast is live pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. If you ever can't find podcast links or any of our resources, please just get in touch. We're Helen and Sarah at squigglycareers.com.